Hi, welcome to day 13 of You Can Become a Master Series 1. I am Venkatesh and will be taking you through the basic concepts of bonds in finance, various types of bonds, treasury bills, treasury bonds, gilts, examples of bonds and gilts, and how to trade with bonds. We will also discuss coupon and yield and how the bond prices vary in the market. Right then, simply put, a bond is a loan from an investor to a borrower such as government, corporation, etc. Bonds are issued by the government or corporation or municipal agencies when they want to raise money and generally offer security against these issues. Therefore, such securities make the investment in bonds a safer option. Bonds are issued with a longer duration, say 7 to 30 years, and the face value is actually repaid at the end of the maturity period. Before we proceed, let us understand the difference between treasury bills, treasury bonds, and gilts. Treasury bills are normally issued at a discounted rate, also known as zero coupon bonds, with a maturity period of 1 year or less. What is this zero coupon? The bonds are issued at a discount. For example, a 1,000 rupee bond is issued for 750 years with a maturity period of 5 years. So you can actually work out the rate and then perhaps say, this gives me an yield of 6%, and that is how the markets estimate the zero coupon bonds. But the treasury bonds, on the other hand, they are not generally issued at a discounted cost, but with a fixed or inflation adjusted coupon rate with maturity period of 7 years or more. Sometimes it goes up to 30 years. The government bonds are called gilts in UK and India, while the German federal bonds are called bonds, B-U-N-D-S, yes, bonds, and in US the same thing is called treasury bills or treasury bonds. Bonds can be encashed after the prescribed holding period. For instance, when you are buying a 10-year bond or a 15-year bond or a 30-year bond, they may say the minimum holding period is 3 years, after which you can encash the bond. The bond prices will depend on the accumulated yield up to date, and therefore when you encash these bonds, you get the bond price plus the accumulated yield price. While you are dealing in secondary markets, the price and the bond yield have got inverse relations. That means when the price of the bond goes up in the secondary market, yield decreases, and when the price goes down, the yield increases, as the coupon rate is fixed in almost all the bonds. Confusing, right? Now let us examine the statement with an example. Let us say we are dealing with a 1,000 rupee face value, 5% bond which is maturing in 20 years. Right. The present rate, market interest rate in the market is, let's say, 4%. And therefore, the yield that you are getting from the bond is much more than the present market rate, and therefore a 1,000 rupee bond if it's going into the secondary market, may cost you 1050 or little more depending on the accumulated yield. While on the other hand, if the interest rate in the market goes up, for instance, you are getting for your fixed deposit 6%, then it makes sense for you to put it in the fixed deposit rather than holding it as a bond. Now what happens is the bond prices start decreasing. When the bond prices start decreasing, you are going to buy the same bond not at 1000 rupee face value, but maybe 950 or 920 rupees per bond. Now, because it is a 5% coupon rate, when you are buying at 920 or 900, you are still getting your 6% return. Do you understand? That is why we always say in the secondary market, the bond prices go up and the yield comes down when you are buying it at 1100, and if you are going to get a return on 1100 at 5% on 1000, that means fixed is 50 rupees. On 1100, 50 rupees is still 4.5 or something like that. Therefore, your yield has come down. It is still not 5%. On the other hand, for 900, if you are going to get 50, it is much more than the 5%, closer to 6%, and you are actually gaining for your investment. This is the meaning of this particular statement, that bond price and bond yield are inversely related. Thus, the price in the secondary market often fluctuates in order to align with the existing market rates. That is why buying bonds in the secondary market makes sense. Friends, tomorrow I am going to talk about callable and non-callable bonds and the public offering from time to time. How does it really affect your initial pickup? Plus, I am also going to discuss about the three risks: interest rate risk, the time risk, as well as the exchange risk tomorrow. So till then, bye and meet you